All right, everyone, welcome back to the channel. So it has been a bit, but people don't always have time for stuff sometimes. But I have been wanting to get back in here and make this video about these specific ammos that are the cheapest that you can get off the shelf. I was wanting to include the Hornady Outfitter and also the Hornady what is it called? Precision Hunter. But those are more like top shelf ammo. A lot of people don't want to have to fork out the extra money for. So in all this stuff here, the two most expensive is the Deer Season XP and the Federal Fusion. This is all for 308 because I am wanting to do a long range hunt, either in let's say probably Nebraska, or maybe another one of those northern states for mule deer, or maybe even hopefully a Washington state mule deer hunt. So whenever I came across these ammos, I was like, I'm going to buy those and see which one has the most energy at 500 yards, because I'm going to consider 500 yards my maximum range to shoot a mule deer. So I am shooting a Savage Model 110 Apex Predator, chambered in 308 with a 20-inch barrel. I would like to have a longer barrel, but it's what I have, and I think that it'll do just fine. I do know a lot of long-range competitive shooters do use heavy 20-inch barrels and stuff like that. Now, I know that it would be much more premium to use a 24 or 26-inch barrel, but it's what I have, and I'm going to make a video when I do the hunt showing that you could do it. I want to make a ton more hunting videos, but let me go ahead and get into this. This is what I found whenever I came across this ammo and I wanted to look at long-range energy. This is the first box that I bought, and I'm going to go over the ballistics with you for every single one of these and show you what I found really just mind-boggling and really ludicrous about all this. So the muzzle velocity on every single one of these is 2,820 feet a second. I even believe it's the same on these. Yep, it is. And also these, let's see. Yep, it is. Every single one of these are 2,820 feet a second. The only one of all these that is actually different than the rest, as far as the bullet itself, I believe to be probably this one here, and that's because it's a completely pointed bullet, which is the Winchester Deer Season XP. I am not sure if this Federal Fusion does have a slight little boat tail on it, but nothing to shake a stick at. So none of these are really boat tail. This one doesn't show that it's boat tail either, but it shows that at 100 at muzzle you have 2,648 foot-pounds of energy. And then at 500 yards, you get down to 807 foot-pounds. These shot really well out of my gun, and so did the Remington Core-Lokt. But, so with these, it puts my maximum range to kill a deer at 400 yards. And I want to shoot further than that. And I was like, man, this doesn't seem right. Because a lot of people say you need at least 1,000 foot-pounds of energy to have an effective kill on a deer. And I do want to go along with them guidelines. I want to make sure that I don't lose a deer. So let's stick to that. Now moving on to the next box. These Remington ones do not advertise the energy, but at 500 yards, these are 1,557 feet a second. And these are 1,560. So they're only 3 feet a second difference. So I'm guessing that they have close to the same foot-pounds energy at that range. So I'm just like, man, that is not good enough. So I got some of the Winchester PowerPoint, which are my favorite hunting bullet. They might not shoot accurately out of every single gun, but they're great for me. They've always done great, especially in 350 Legend and 30-30. I've had amazing, results with that. So, I know it's going to be similar with this stuff. So, still 2,820 feet a second. This is with the Winchester PowerPoint. This is my favorite stuff in the world. As far as the performance of the bullet and what it does to a deer, I just love it. You can't go wrong. At the muzzle, you have 2,648 pounds of muzzle energy, just like these other two boxes would have. And at 500 yards, you have 742 foot-pounds of energy. So that's like 50-something foot-pounds less than these other two boxes. Like, that makes no sense to me. The bullets are pretty much the same shape, and they're the same muzzle velocity. I'm not understanding what is the big difference in the bullet itself or the powder or any of it that's making it that small. Like, even at 400 yards with these, you only have 977 foot-pounds of energy. So these are pretty much, for me, if I'm going to go by the box, I'm going to limit these to a 300-yard shot. So this is something that I'm just going to use up here in Northeast Missouri and call it good. Like, I just don't understand it. So if you know anything about this, leave me some comments in the comment section, and I can learn from you just as well as maybe sometimes you can learn from me. So I'm going to put these over here, move on to the next ones. These also don't have, let's see. These only have drop. So these advertise also 2,820 feet a second at the muzzle. And let's see. I'm going to compare it to this box for drop and see if we can guesstimate. Let's see. At 400 yards, these drop 24 inches, 24.9 inches. The Winchester ones drop 27.2 inches. So I'm sure these are a little bit, at 500 yards, these are 51 inches. These are 57 inches. Let's see. Let me go back to these Federals over here. We're going to get this done right. The Federals are 55. So these will be right about probably 900 foot-pounds of energy at 1,000 yards. 500 yards, which is better than both of these two boxes. And this one also. Let's see what these drop at. Yeah, these are 54 inches, 54.8 inches of drop at 500 yards. That's just like, that doesn't make me happy, because it just doesn't make any sense to me. Because like I said, these other two boxes have the same muzzle energy. And even these Federal Fusions have a similar shaped bullet with a little tiny flat part in the front where it starts to, it aids in your mushrooming. So let's move on to them. So these, according to the box, and I don't believe they're going to be lying very much. They might have to exaggerate a little bit, but they're 2,820 feet a second, 2,648 foot-pounds of energy at the muzzle, which is comparable to the box of the Federal PowerShock that I have here, and it's 2,648 foot-pounds at the muzzle. Now, at 500 yards with these, it drops only 46 inches, and it has 1,104 foot-pounds of energy. I'm like, wow. Like, there ain't much different about this. Like, what does that? This is a bullet that I can long-range hunt with. As far as, I do some reloading. I have reloading stuff here. But something that you can buy affordably at the store, this will do just fine. So I'm just like, well, if my gun shoots good with these, I'm going to do a Federal Fusion long-range hunt. And, we'll see. So I'm going to compare these two bullets at long range to see which one groups the best at my 100 yards. And if one of the other is consistently better, that's when I might possibly choose, depending. So move on to these, which again, the same is 2,820 feet a second at the muzzle there, and then 2,648 foot-pounds of energy there at the muzzle. These are a little bit less powerful at 500 yards than the Federal Fusion. These are at 1,046 foot-pounds and 48.3 inches of drop. At 500 yards, these here are 46.9, so an inch and something of drop difference. So I'm just kind of like, well, I'm just going to have to, at this point, have to compare these two in accuracy at 100 yards, and then maybe also buy a couple of boxes of each one so I can shoot some longer range with them and see how they perform. I will keep y'all in the loop with that. It's just mind-boggling to me. And so I'm sure it's the same with all the rest of the ammo. Say with 30-06, I'm sure these two will perform better at long range, the Federal Fusion and the Winchester Deer Season XP. Now, obviously, I know that the Hornady Precision Hunter will do amazing. It's even heavier. These are all 150 grain bullets, every single one of them. So the 178 grain Hornady Precision Hunter will be better. And I'm sure maybe even the Hornady Outfitter. The only thing I don't like about the Hornady bullet that they use, I believe, is the SST for that. In that bullet, it just doesn't, I don't like how it performs. Like the jacket doesn't stay intact with your core. I just don't really care for it. I had an example of that sitting around here somewhere, but I don't know what I did with it. I would show you. It's a 350 Legend bullet. Even in 350 Legend, this is my favorite stuff. So anyways, y'all leave some comments in the comment section. Tell me what y'all think. You know, I do also want to work up some hand loads to test at those ranges, but I don't have a way to I don't have a chronograph, can't afford one right now, and I don't have a way to measure what the bullet performance is. So I'm going to probably try to rely on something store-bought. So anyways, if y'all were wondering about that, if say you have a 270 or a 308, especially because that's what I just used, or a 30-06, or you know, even some of the Magnum calibers, 300 Win Mag or 7mm Rim Mag or whatever. If you're a kind of a budget-oriented hunter and you want to shoot some long-range deer, I would go with one of these two. So anyways, I hope that y'all enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something from this. I hope that y'all actually can leave some comments and provide some feedback to me that will help enlighten me on why these are such, like, don't perform as well as this. Especially since they have the same bullet weight, same bullet shape, and same muzzle velocity. So hopefully you can help me out with that. Now, one thing they could have done with this stuff, they could have tested it out of a 30-inch barrel or some weird stuff like that, but I don't know. So anyways, leave that in the comments. I'd appreciate it so much. God bless you. Jesus loves you so much, and I will see you next time.